Hi there, my name is David Mainville, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Navvia. Thank you for attending this brief talk on Is Shadow AI the New Shadow IT? Let's jump right in. So, around the 1990s, we saw the introduction of a technology called client-server computing. And client-server computing was all the rage. It was very different from the traditional mainframe environments of the day because people were able to use client server computing to innovate quickly. There were various tools available like Microsoft Access and other databases. People could build applications on client server without having to go to the traditional IT organization, which was in some cases fairly bogged down by cumbersome processes and the inability to move quickly enough to meet the user's needs. But what ended up happening is there was a proliferation of this client server computing. Because the mainframe organization, the IT organization, couldn't respond quickly enough, this was just basically popping up everywhere. People were building applications in Microsoft Access. They were, solving real business problems. But on the downside, these systems, because they weren't built by IT people, they were inherently insecure. They weren't being backed up properly. In some cases, they were deployed to broom closets or underneath someone's desk, literally, where a cleaner could come by and accidentally unplug it while they were plugging in, a floor cleaning machine. So there were a lot of problems with shadow IT, but the one thing it did solve was the needs for the business to move faster and to innovate at speed. So we can take some lessons from shadow IT. First of all, the business needs to innovate. The business is the whole purpose of the organization. That's what drives the revenue. That's what keeps everyone employed. And if the business can't innovate at speed, they will not be as competitive and they won't be able to react to changing business conditions. The other thing is, if the IT organization has outdated governance, it can become a barrier. Now, governance is critical. Don't get me wrong. Things need to be protected. Things need to be secure. But there needs to be a balance between governance and getting the job done. Users will always find the path of least friction. If it isn't client server, well, with the introduction of the PC, people started building applications in Microsoft Excel. How many times have you heard of little businesses running completely on Microsoft Excel, even some large ones? So users will always find the path of least friction. And it's up to the IT organization to provide them with the tools and the capabilities so they can innovate at speed, but in a safe manner. Because if you don't, this ungoverned IT will increase organizational risk. The business users really don't think of things like supply chain management. They don't think about having an application tested, having a penetration test, for example, done against an application to make sure it's secure. They don't understand things about credentials and all of the other things that the IT department would normally worry about. So ungoverned IT will definitely increase organizational risk. But IT cannot become a barrier to innovation, and that's the key point here. I believe that AI is following the same path. Employees need to solve business problems. AI offers fast and easy solutions. And I'm talking about going beyond just, writing an email. I'm saying putting some data into an AI and doing an analysis, creating charts and graphs and tables, or actually making it part of your day-to-day business process. AI is there. And AI is embedded in almost every tool we use today. It's embedded in Microsoft Office. It's embedded in Teams. It's in Microsoft Outlook. You find it in virtually every SaaS application in the browser. So wherever you look, there's an AI tool that's available to you to help you get your job done. But the question is, are these tools safe? Are they safe? Are they the right place to put corporate data? And how you use these tools may open up the organization to some serious risk. So as I was saying, because of the proliferation of AI, whether it's on your own personal device or in the various tools you use at work, shadow AI emerges across business processes. So now you have these pieces of AI technology, a key part of how your business operates. And that's going to dramatically increase risk and liability. For example, there's many cases where you hear of people putting information into an AI that all of a sudden now becomes exposed to others. And that just makes things very, very risky. I want to emphasize, though, shadow AI is a symptom. It's not a problem, right? There's nothing wrong with using AI tools. If you believe AI will help you with productivity and your organization is behind that, go for it, right? The AI will help you with a lot of different things, but it's shadow AI. It's the use of unapproved AI that becomes the problem. And the reason it's a symptom is because people wouldn't do it if they had approved technology to use. So, for example, in our company, we've created our own internal AI. It's on our own servers. It's behind our firewalls, and we've connected it to the different chat clients that we need to get the job done. So we know that anything we put into our AI at work is safe and secure and protected. It's not being used to train the AI. It's not going out on a public network. So shadow AI, the use of the unapproved tools, is basically a symptom of the poor response of the IT department to meet the needs of the user. So organizations really need to operationalize the processes that make the safe use of AI the easiest path. So, for example, the risk management process can identify where risks are with various AI tools. Information security management can set the policies for what's used, what's not used, and how it's monitored. Request management can make it easier for people to request AI tools when they need that to perform their job. Things like monitoring and event management can look for the unapproved use of shadow AI within the organization. Incident problem change, asset and configuration management can help you respond to issues or to keep track of what AI models and what AI technology you have deployed in the organization. So it's our belief at Navvia that what you need to do is use the IT service management processes you have today to control how that AI is governed, but also enable the use of AI so people can get the job done quickly. They can get their request resolved, in a very efficient manner. So technology can help with the control of shadow AI, but it isn't enough. Technology can help you reduce the risk of shadow AI. There's a lot of tools out there, and a growing number for that matter, that can detect the use of shadow AI. And it can reduce the risk, but it's not going to catch everything. Processes that operationalize governance are a very important aspect to help control this risk. So making sure you have the right policies, the right training, processes that make sure that people can request the right tools and get access to the right ones quickly, processes that make sure that you've basically operationalized the use of AI within the organization so you don't take undue risk. And finally, people need to be trained and supported. If they're not aware of the risks and ramifications of using shadow AI, they're going to gravitate to it because it's the path of least resistance. And they're there to get their job done. All they want to do is get the job done quickly. So you need to give them the tools to make the staff productive. So how do you operationalize governance for AI? You want to govern it through the same process as you govern everything else. Your request management process that gets you a PC should be the request management process that gets you access to the right AI tools. You have to embed governance into daily work. So when an employee is trained for security, if that's a standard practice in your organization, AI training has to be part of that as well. And when you have periodic updates to training, the process has to also encompass AI and the proper use of AI. So you want to embed it into the daily work, the processes that people operate with. You want to build on existing capabilities, so you don't need to create net new processes to govern AI. You can actually do it on the capabilities that you have today. And you want to basically just continually improve those processes. So as new technologies emerge, new risks emerge, you can embed that into the operational IT service management processes that you have in place today. This will also help you eliminate process debt, because the more your processes aren't keeping up with the times, the more baggage you're hanging on to. And by keeping your processes constantly improving to meet the changing needs of the users and of the technology that's available, it will help you eliminate process debt and be prepared for the future. So, final thoughts: technology will continue to change. We have AI today. We're going to have things we can't even imagine right now coming our way. Human behavior will always remain the same. People are going to take the path of least resistance. The business users are going to want to get their job done, and IT has to be there to protect them, but also to enable them. Governance is an operational capability. So governance can't just be a checklist. We've done this, we've done this. It has to be embedded in the processes you use every day. So, for example, request management, to request an AI component, or supplier management to make sure the AI in every SaaS tool you're using is safe and secure. So it has to be part of your operational capability. Shadow AI is definitely a symptom, not the problem. Don't blame the users for shadow AI. You have to blame the system, the processes. And what we have to do is provide them with the tools they need so shadow AI does not become a problem. The power is in the process. I am a firm believer that for all of these things, we have the service management processes in place today. We already have the capabilities to make requests, to manage change, to resolve incidents. We just have to make sure this new technology is part of that process. So just a final slide. If you're interested in learning more about shadow AI, we have a quite comprehensive article on it that's available both on LinkedIn and our website. And I mentioned the term process debt, which is the baggage of processes not staying current with the times. If you want to learn a little bit more about process debt, you can also access a comprehensive article both on LinkedIn and our website. So I want to thank you for your time today, and take care. Bye for now.